Today's ride is it's my second time out on the bike, and this time I'm going to spend a bit more time out, but it's mostly about getting the cameras right. The paintwork on this bike is pristine, and uncharacteristically for me, I don't want to mess it up. So I've started to use, on this case, suction mounted cameras, and I want to see how they turn out. Of course, I also want to spend a little bit more time riding the bike, because it is something So I'm not going very far today. I haven't got my sat nav fitted, so I'll get lost and I won't be able to find my way home. So I'm staying very local on roads I know quite well and checking the cameras out. This is the Polaroid camera on the GoPro suction mount on the left hand side, and look at it bouncing around a little bit, and you've also got that ugly bit of fairing over there on the right hand side. I can remove it. I can zoom the camera in so that it loses that altogether and zooms in on the vanishing point, so to speak. But it's not a bad position. If I can get it so it doesn't bounce around so much, that would be great. It does bounce around a bit, doesn't it? Now, that's the GoPro Max, and look, it's not exactly right, is it? And there's not really very much that I can do to sort of correct that. If I'd been fully in the picture but a bit small, I could have zoomed in, but there's nothing I can do with this, so I will need to do something about the position of that camera. It'll need to be, at the very least, tilted back a little bit more, and then it'd be perfect, I think. Now, this is a Ghost S on the right hand side. You're getting a bit of the wheel in, but at the same time, if you look at the vanishing point there, it's a bit up and to the right, and I can move over into that so that you lose sight of the wheel. That's something I'll be able to do quite easily, to be fair, but I think I could probably do better if I put it on a GoPro suction mount. The arm on it's a bit long and it's a bit bouncy, I think. Now this is the Hero 10. This is actually on the left hand mirror stalk, and that's not actually too bad, and I think its position is exactly where it should be, so I'm not going to be making any changes to this at all. Perfect spot, absolutely perfect spot. This is a road I used to ride on my way into work every morning. Yeah, that's my helmet camera. Nothing's going to change about that. It's been like that for months, and it's going to stay like that, I think. But I used to ride on this road on my way into work every day. It's a lovely road. Get it on a nice dry day and you can really make some progress along this road. I'm not trying too hard today, and the reason is I'm still a bit nervy about the front brake. If there's any muck or anything like that on the road, I have a nasty feeling I'm going to go into a bit of a slide with the front wheel locked, and I'll be on the floor and I'll scratch me nice shiny new to me bike. So I'm not going to try all that hard. I'm going to turn right here. The reason I'm going to do that is this road is a little bit twistier. It's not as fast in some places, but it's nice and twisty, and I do like the road, so I thought, right, I'm here, let's go and give it a go. And it means I'll be doing a circuit that I'm fairly used to, if you want the truth. This will take me back to the start point of this ride. I won't quite go to the exact start point because I'll turn left and get on the motorway. But if you look at, you might not be able to see it, but I could. There's like streaks of mud and what have you down the road here, and I was thinking, well, you know, don't really want to risk that front brake. So I was a bit more cautious coming down here than I normally would be. But it is a nice stretch of road, and for the two GoPro cameras, I've got one spot on and the max almost right. I'm not being funny, it's pretty ugly, isn't it, really? See, I'm a little bit nervy about going around the corner. I'll grow out to that. The Kawasaki's I was used to, the handling was pretty similar across bikes, maybe a little bit tauter on the 1400. Maybe the bike took off a lot faster on the 1400 as well, but in principle the handling characteristics weren't that far off. This does feel quite a bit different, I've got to admit. I was a bit disturbed about the shaft. The last time I rode a shaft drive bike, I went onto a roundabout. When I came to get off the roundabout, I opened the throttle to accelerate away, and the rotation of the shaft made it feel as though the bike wouldn't come back upright as I left the roundabout. It's a little bit of a scary experience, so I'm just a bit dubious about possibly the same thing happening with this one. I never noticed it, if you want the truth. Nothing like it ever happened on this bike so far. It just handles and comes out of corners completely normally. I haven't got a sat nav because I haven't got a mount for it. On my Kawasaki I built a bit of a scaffold between the yoke tube out to the switchgear, where I found a screw where you could screw in a rear view mirror stalk on, say, a naked bike, and they were using the switchgear across the different bikes. So I put a ball in that and then built a scaffold across, and it never went wrong. In 5 years it never went wrong at all. I don't have the opportunity to do that with this bike, and I don't quite know how I'm going to deal with it. Don't want to buy the usual ball with a metal wedge in it. They come loose, they really do. So I'm looking for something different. Some that I've seen, it looks as though you attach them somewhere along the windscreen, and they cost about £60 or £70. But until I've seen a photograph of one showing how it's actually physically attached to my bike, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. I did consider trying to build a similar scaffold and having a suction ball mount alongside the yoke tube. I dropped that idea as soon as I had a look at it the next morning, and instead of looking at it in my dreams, I looked at it with my eyes. There's no way that's going to work. Now, I do like this little bit of a road. It's a dual carriageway. Nobody likes dual carriageways, but this is actually quite nice. You can get a nice bit of speed going on this, and you can get a nice feel for how the bike manages. Then you got a set of traffic lights and everybody catches you up again. I'm going to have to look for a new tank bag. My Oxford with the QR ring, it does sometimes come away from the QR ring, and I've noticed on the Kawasaki it's left a little scratch on the paintwork. If I put that on this bike and scratch the paintwork, I think my missus would get very upset. So I'm going to get on the motorway now and then get off again at Daresbury roundabout, and I'm thinking I might head off towards Daresbury itself. There's some nice little lanes out there. I'm not going to do too much. I'll just get to a nice little bit of a lane and take a few photographs, I think. Yeah, as you can see that GoPro Max, can't you? It needs sort of adjusting just a little bit from that position. It'll be alright once it's done. But I'm now heading off towards Daresbury. There's a nice little pub, does nice food, not a lot of space. See, that camera's really no good there, is it? The ground's a bit rough here. You just see how the camera's bouncing all over the bloody place. So I think I might put the short arm back onto the GoPro suction mount. I'll put a slightly longer one on. It might change the viewpoint as well, and make it a little bit more scenic, shall we say? Watching the front wheel bounce around.